Hi, this is Phil Newman from Longevity.Technology, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by Osinakachi Akumakalu, who is the founder, chairman of the board of directors of AfroLongevity. Osi, hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet with you, Phil.
Well, Osi, it's great. It's great to have you here. And obviously, you've got your new conference announced, and that's coming up later in the year. So maybe could you just explain a little bit more about the objective that you have for your conference?
So thank you so very much for the question. So the International Longevity Summit Africa is going to be the first longevity summit in the continent. And it's going to be an in-person event. So it is one of the basics. And the reason for this conference is to educate, introduce the longevity, the idea about longevity to the continent, and to spread the message across the 55 African countries. And the essence is to educate people so as we have an idea on how to close the life expectancy gap in the continent. So we are going to do that across different boards, which includes the education, which is the experts, and we talk about the scientific research so that people of the African descent, we understand the emerging and converging idea in the field of longevity. So aside that, we are also trying to position Africa as the next destination for longevity investment and to encourage research in the field of longevity across universities. However, we've started that because this phase for Afro-longevity is for the advocacy stage. So we've already set up a competition for high school undergraduates and independent thinkers below 35 years, 35 years, to encourage participation and re-engineering the consciousness about longevity.
Well, that sounds like some big objectives that you've got there, and you've got the conference taking place over 2 days. So, aside from some of the people that are in academia and research in South Africa, who else do you have coming along to speak?
Okay, so we have, it's a global event. It's not just an African event. So it's a convergence of healthcare professionals across board. So because, longevity is not just a question or an event for scientists alone. So we need policymakers. There are policymakers that will be coming across the African continents and across the world. So we've already gotten the support of organizations, big players in the longevity community, like the Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation. We've also gotten SENS Research Foundation. We've also gotten a Lifespan IO and GlycanAge. So we've already discussed with them. But however, our idea about the 2 days event is to really cover the special theme that includes diversity and inclusion. So we need to really bring together the disciplines and the organizations or institutions that looks into healthcare to make sure that we drive our message home.
Very good. Well, I guess that Osi, you're going to be covering quite a lot of subjects associated with longevity, and with that mixed audience. Are you going to be doing everything from science through to investment to policy? Is it going to be over these 2 days a mixed agenda for these different types of participants?
Yes, we will have breakaway sessions. And now we have keynote sections. We're going to have poster sections, and there will be exhibition where people reach out to organizations that got exhibition stands to ask them what they are really doing in their companies, in their organizations, and what they are pushing out to the world. So what we plan is the first day, we're going to have keynote presentations. We're going to have parallel paper presentations. We're going to have investor sessions, just like a small conference going on simultaneously during this event. So it behoves on participants to determine which they want to really attend. So we also have a session where we bring together what have been discussed in different conference rooms. So we're going to cover issues like precision medicine. But however, one of the discussions we had is the idea of medical tourism. So we discussed that with the tourism board, South African tourism board. So and the National Convention Bureau really accepted for us to do this. So we're going to have medical tourism and for people to really understand emerging breakthroughs in the medical field. And precision medicine is one of the vital thing to be covered. So we also make plans for longevity for pets and endangered animals. And we're really working in that aspect. And there are people who are already indicating interest to make presentation around that.
That's fascinating, because I was interested in understanding why you had like South African Airways and South African Tourism Board as your supporters. So do you see longevity tourism being a big aspect of the perhaps South African economy or wider African economy?
Yeah, definitely, because it's not just about the longevity aspect, but the educational aspect. So we are partnering with longevity education or longevity medicine education that is being chaired by Professor Evelyne Bishof and Alex. So we are really trying to see how we can encourage medical tourism through its education. They see it as an emerging idea in the continent, and every continent is trying to grab it to see how their country becomes the next destination for longevity research. So, and as a way of supporting, when you have the government behind you in your program and what you're doing, it's already a tick box and a support signal to those who are participating that would like to attend the event. So for us, the South African Airways are really giving us the support, and they're trying to say, okay, these are discounts when your delegates are coming. They should use this code once they register, and we give them this discount and all that. So for us, it's a vote of confidence that we know what we're doing, and they're supporting what we're doing. So aside the South African Airways, the tourism board, like the last event we did, once you get to the OR Tambo Airport, you will see some group of tourism officers that will welcome you and take you to the office. And we just want our delegates to be safe, to understand that the country really welcomes them to the event.
Very good. And of course, in terms of the conference itself, do you see this as being South Africa just by location, but it's covering both the political, scientific, as well as demographic aspects of Africa as a whole, OC, or do you feel that this is more South Africa focused at this time?
No, it's not really South African focus, it's African focus, right? So there's this, in every continent, there is always a playbook, a country that starts a thing, and once it turns out to be correct, then it becomes a blueprint for all that to really adapt. So I believe that South African, avail the ecosystem for ideas like this to strive. So they have been really doing well in gerontology, but longevity, which looks at the causes and the effect, not just the effects, is really a better way to start. So when we presented these ideas to them, they captured it and they were like, okay, bring it on. So I believe if other African countries, as we are trying to invite ministries of health and research bodies across the African continent, and we are really pushing hard and making sure that they buy into it. If they come and see how it plays out, then they'll try to encourage research in this field. But however, we have heard of markets in some African countries that are really taking the message home. And for instance, the essay competition that we have put out, that is being chaired by Dr. Natasha Vita-More, there are a lot of participant delegates from Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, and not Africans and all that across the African continent registering. We've so far gotten over 200 registrations for the competition. So we are confident enough that considering the advancement in science and technology with regards to South Africans and all that, and at least they are not really suffering from brain drain, you can see that there is a lot of interest, and most of our chief science officers and devices, they are South Africans, they are indigenous, they are based here, and we keep pushing through the education system so that there'll be literatures and all that. And as a result, it will also help other African countries to come on board and be part of what we are doing.
Well, AC, it sounds wonderful, and of course, people would want to find out more. So what are the dates, and how can people obtain tickets?
So the event is actually a 2-day event, but however, which is on the 23rd and 24th of August. So the tickets on sale. Go to conference at .tffds.org, and if you visit any TFFDS website, you will find the flyers. But it starts, arrival of delegates is on the 22nd, and on the 25th we'll be having tour. So we want to show people around and to show them what we are doing and how far we've gone with afrolongevity and the important things. But however, there is something that is so important about this event. This event will be taking place at the Cradle of Humankind, the Maropian site, where the fossils and all the research about the origin of humanity are being kept. Right, so the Cradle of Humankind is an amazing site and an interesting site. It's a historical site. So when you go there, the center is the partner with Wits universities, and there are a lot of things that researchers and scientists need to really learn about African humanity at large.
Well, OC, it sounds wonderful. Best of luck to you and your colleagues in organising this, and we look forward to checking in a bit closer to the event to see how you're getting on.
Yes, I'll be happy to come here to talk about the event, the progressions, about the event registrations, and we've really, like I said earlier, we've really gotten over 20 speakers from across the world, from India and the United States and Europe. So people who are really doing amazing work with regards to longevity and the life expectancy of humanity. So we're really working hard in making sure that we pull this event. For me, it is not just about the event, but because the event is going to be a work in progress. Our main target is the event proceedings, the proceedings for the event. So the call for abstract is still on, but will be closing next week. And people can send in their papers, their abstracts, and if accepted, they will be allowed to speak and make presentations on the event. So it's an in-person event. So we really want to make it happen.
Great. Well, OC, thanks for joining us today, and best of luck with all of it.
Thank you, Phil. I really appreciate it.